He was instrumental in reviving, or rather reintroducing, a whole new constitution for HIC.
His leadership style to bring everyone together and a place where that commonality can be shared on a day-to-day basis.
And I clearly remember one of the land that he looked at is where Masjid-Al-Hayy is today.
As a president, it's really important to listen to complaints or grievances, and with the positive, there's always a negative. And to take all that information to kind of relate it to a platform that would bring everyone together. And some of those challenges, for example, were maintaining the values of our Islamic beliefs in a Western society. And then also the other aspect would be of ensuring there's spiritual guides in our community, other than just scholarly information on history that we are getting as well. And you have an audience that is, has been brought up and sees and wants lectures to be a certain way, and then you have youths that have a different way of seeing of how it is, and to bringing a platform of speakers that could appeal to all the masses, but yet ensure that our values of the Ahlul-bayt are instilled within us, and a place where ensuring the youths would come and be participating in the mosque rather than saying that, oh, they don't feel like coming to the mosque because of the lecture or the sermon that's being given is not answering the questions. So being able to bring in speakers from all over and having an engaging audience was a challenge. I do know that.
Some of the challenges that Marhum Mehebub Manji faced, the very first challenge that he faced was when he wanted to introduce the whole new constitution, before he even got the president, there was some resentment, and rightfully so, because the community at that time was small, but they were settled. They were here for many years, and they had a program, a tradition that was going on, and he wanted to bring a whole new ideas and a whole new way of running the Jamaat. So he had faced a lot of resentment at that time. But I think he managed eventually to explain to the community what he wanted to do and why he wanted to do. And I think being the president gave him that platform to actually show people what his vision was, why he wanted to do what he did. And some of the things that he brought up that you see until today's constitution. In fact, a lot of things that what he had introduced during at that time is still continuing in today's constitution. Marhum Mehebub was a very experienced, very successful person in his personal life, in his business life. He was a very successful person. And one thing he knew about that, and that is something that I learned from him, was that I'm not here to please everybody. I'm here to please the Almighty Allah. And the second thing that he taught me, I remember him always mentioning, is that you will never be able to convince everybody to be in line with what you're thinking. You have to take it into action and show it to people what you think was right. And if you are not right, then be the first one to admit that, you know what, I tried, but that maybe was not the right thing.
The impact my father had on me, I would say, is very blessed to be not only born as a Muslim, but a believer, and the love that he shared and showed us in our household for the family of Rasulullah. as well as instilling God consciousness in us in everything that we did. And that would start from honesty, sincerity, and trust, and fostering those and making sure in our household that whatever we did, we were honest in our dealings. And that enables us to have strong spiritual guidance through that as well. It was really positive personality in terms of, and just with honesty, like, just very genuine, and just be real. He was very real. He would have, there was no sugarcoating. It wasn't like, it is what it is. But, after like 9/11 happened, there was a lot of, events that were at that time of the whole Islamophobia, and now it's become so much more heightened, right? But also being very much respectful of other faiths, of other religions, because we are all creation of Allah, but that's like in the household, right? So, you don't judge, don't be stereotyped, you don't do, who are you to say you are better than anyone else,
Personally, I don't know if I can't say that I probably would not have been part of the Jamaat, but it was him who actually put me in there. And I also remember very clearly when our term was ending, and I was like, okay, I just got my first 2 years of Jamaat experience. He came to me and he first told me, he's like, okay, next step now you need to do is prepare to become a president. And that's when I thought, okay, Mehebub, I think it's a little too immature to do that. And from there, I ended up going into Union Sports Club and, got involved in there. And eventually, I came back to Jamaat and eventually became the president. But it was him who actually not only introduced me to Jamaat, but he also taught me some of the things, how to deal with Jamaat. That was his biggest thing that I remember teaching me. This is how you deal with Jamaat. Because as a secretary, you get a lot of questions. You get a lot of people asking questions. And at that time, with people moving every so often, things changing rapidly, new constitution, new people leading the community, there was a little bit of chaotic moment. And a lot of people were questioning, okay, what's going to happen? How do we do this? And it was him who used to be our, guiding light as to how we run the Jamaat, how we answer the people, what we want to do, what our vision.
What that comes to my mind is a verse from the Holy Quran, which is in chapter 5, verse 32. And it goes, "And whoever saves one, it is as if he has saved mankind entirely." And with that, I like to say, thank you, Allah, for giving me a dad who's instilled strong values within me and has left me an impact that I know will be sharing with my progeny and take it forward, that they too will take that torch and move it forward as well.
This community, I've always mentioned in one of my speeches that we have come because of some of these people like Marhum Mehebub Manji and Marhum Husseini Yusuf Ali, Marhum Liaquat Fazil, Marhum Jafar Abdus, and these are the pioneers, the experienced people. Along with Ghulam Bhai, of course, he was the start of this whole thing. And unfortunately, along the way, we have lost Marhum Mehebub and some of the others. So I would like to conclude by asking everybody to please recite Surah Fatiha for Marhum Mehebub Manji and all those who have served this community who are no longer with us.